Hi, this is Jerome Davis. I'm the artistic director of Burning Coal Theater Company, and we're doing a series of talks this week and next week with the leadership of arts organizations, particularly theater makers in the Triangle area. The thing that we do most and best is kind of the opposite of social distancing, right? We bring people together in small rooms to think and talk and be together and have experiences together. And we're being asked now to do the exact opposite of that. And so it's caused some upheaval in our industry. Johannah Maynard, you have a different name now, though, don't you? I always know you as Johannah Maynard. Johannah Edwards. And Johannah,
yes.
Your title is artistic director now, or managing director?
They've been calling me executive artistic director.
Very good. Well, we'll do that as well. It's the executive artistic director of the Women's Theater Festival. Johannah Edwards is joining us today. Johannah, we wanted to start out with the question, how are you and how is the Women's Theater Festival? And if you don't mind, just talk a little bit about things you've had to rearrange or cancel or push down the road.
We're okay, and thank you for asking. We didn't get hit in the middle of something right now. Our next project goes into is supposed to go into rehearsal April 27th. Clearly now we know from the most updated information from the governor yesterday that it's at least May 15th. But with that creative team, we've already started having design meetings around what that looks like to take it virtual. And we've been practicing with some virtual play readings already to see if we can kind of learn the platform options while pivoting. But there's a lot that's up in the air, now that we have that May 15th hard deadline happening. Going to check with our City of Raleigh funders because the project Freak Show is a funded project. So 50% of our budget is ostensibly coming from them. And I don't know how that's going to change right now, and so many questions. Will they support us doing the project in a virtual platform? Is the money gone and needs to go to other things now?
Right. What is the project? Tell us a little bit about the project.
It is Freak Show by Carson Kreitzer, and it's our first big City of Raleigh project grant. We're in the big kid leagues now.
Excellent. Welcome.
And we had already cast the show. We have a brilliant production team. We have lots of great ideas. We have a space, and not sure.
And everything is floating right now, but not necessarily stopping and not necessarily going forward. It's a rough place to be.
Everyone on the design and production and is in for the idea of just pivoting and presenting the work in a different format. But it just becomes a matter of, can I pay the people what I said I'd pay them before? And how to make it's so hard to make those little cells in the spreadsheets work to begin with, and now to try to figure out how to rework them with so many questions instead of answers.
And would Kreitzer's agent or royalties company, would they be amenable to a different format? Do you know, or have you?
Yeah, it's the licensing company is PlayScripts, and they've mobilized really fast to start to get streaming licenses going and those approvals. And that it's work that we just went ahead and started doing, is going directly to playwrights and asking them, hey, we worked with Carrie Dad's Fitch last week, and I just sent her a DM in Twitter. And I was like, I have this idea and you seem to be wild and out there. You want to do this? And she immediately said yes. And the same thing with Lauren Gunderson this week. She was just totally down with the idea of
Good.
taking her play virtual. And our sister company, the Bay Area Women's Theater Festival, was supposed to present Natural Shocks with Lauren herself performing it.
Ah,
And they got shut down just now. So Lauren won't be performing it in our reading, but she will be there for a Q&A afterwards. So
that's
very cool.
fantastic. And
Yeah.
when does that happen?
That's happening Thursday night at 7:30 on our Twitch channel.
That's March 26th.
Yes, March 26th.
Okay, terrific. So it sounds like you guys are finding ways, and this was no surprise, but creative ways to make these things happen. The finances are going to be an issue, I think, is what I'm hearing from you. But
Yeah.
The jury's still out on that. Have you been communicating with your audiences yet about financial support, or what is your tactic on that right now?
Yeah, we're really pushing our Patreon right now,
Yeah.
because that can really help us with our overhead and operating costs as
Good.
we figure things out. We should also have already started selling passes for our summer festival, which would be, by this time last year, we had a considerable amount of those ticket sales coming in, and that paid our regular monthly staff salaries.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's just me on staff, so it's really just my small salary and my health insurance premium. And we don't have a building. We don't have the type of overhead costs that some of the other theaters in our area have.
Right.
That I don't think we have the stress that you have right now. Our levels are different, which lets us.
There's good and bad in it.
Yeah.
Thankfully,
Yeah.
we had a lot of stuff lined up of our own making this spring. And the good news about that is that we didn't have a lot of rentals. There were a couple, but there weren't a ton of rentals that we're now going to have to refund or reschedule
Right.
for next year. So that gives us a little bit of flexibility. Johannah, what do you have down the road? What are you looking forward to at Women's Theater Festival? Short-term, long-term, what's coming up?
We haven't rescheduled our festival, which is July 9th through 12th. Still hoping that can happen IRL, in real life, as the kids say.
Yeah.
Hoping that can still be a thing that happens, but in the next couple of weeks, really going to just have to be gathering the best intelligence. And then we're about to make our next season announcement, which basically begins with our festival, and the second show will be 19, our first commissioned work by Jacqueline Lawton,
Okay.
which will be directed by Jamaica Holloway Burrell, and being a part of that commissioning process, and being a part of a playwright and a dramaturg and a director, and me getting to bring that special baby into the world is such a delight. I love the process. I love working with all of those women, and that's in October. So hopefully we get to just move on as planned, but all the things, who knows, that's where we're applying for grants for that project, and who knows what the funding is going to look like later on this year. So
a lot of it's going to depend on how robustly the economy comes back, because if it does, then the tax base remains solid, and the governmental agencies have funds to spend on the arts. And if it doesn't, then they may have to spend more on health and human services and things like that. So yeah, that's important. So tell me about your festival. What all are you guys doing? The 19th sounds great, and I'm looking forward to that. And we're doing something similar as well.
I know.
Although it's a bunch of small plays instead of one larger play. But tell me about the festival in July.
So our festival has 3 tracks. We have our Fringe Festival track, where we have the submissions deadline is April 1st. And we have more wonderful submissions than we can choose, which is amazing.
Where are they coming from?
All over. We have some local and some just from all over the country. we drum up a lot of interest at SCTC for that, and for our conference track. Some of the great sessions that we went to at SCTC are like bringing those sessions to the conference track of our festival.
That's terrific. Can you tell us about one? I know you had a couple of really great ones last year. I participated in one of them myself. What do you have coming this time?
So one that, like, I can tell you about my Fringe Festival show.
Okay.
I'm working on a project with Molly Clausen. She's a director and directing professor out of Columbus State University, and we're devising a new work called the Momversations Project, and we're building it through podcast interviews with mothers from all around the country with different complex situations, complex needs, and we'll be presenting those podcasts episodes through our Patreon, and then developing the workshop production this summer out of that material, so people can listen along throughout and kind of like get to know these women that will be becoming characters, and then presenting that. And another really exciting thing is this year we're having a Fringe Lab for early stage directors, and their first virtual meeting is on Saturday, where this cohort of 10 directors are going to get a monthly masterclass in different topics of directing practice, and each of them will get a chunk of Love and Information by Carol Churchill that will be theirs to direct, and each one will get a one-on-one directing mentor, and then we'll put it all together as a Fringe show in the series this summer.
And it will be virtual, or it'll be an actual live performance?
It should be an actual live performance, as long as we're allowed to have live performance in July.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. You never know. We might get really good at this virtual thing if it goes on too much longer. So I'm
hoping, because I think it's an accessibility issue. I think that there's a lot of folks who wouldn't have been able to come out to a live show anyway, no matter what. And finding these options to let those folks into our audiences is ultimately a good thing to do. And I hope we're going to find out that it's also a lucrative thing to do, that these are new revenue streams for us as well, to open up. So my fingers are crossed that this moment of crisis is just the beginning to opening up our industry in new creative ways and new funding ways.
Right. Well, Johannah, it sounds like things are well in hand there, as much as they can be right now, which is good, very good. And do you have anything else you want to say to your audience, or to our audience, or to the audience before we?
Well, yeah, I mean, it is the audience now. I think that's another positive thing about this moment, is geography is no longer a barrier, and being able to capitalize on that and to share audiences and to share artists. Lauren Gunderson couldn't hop on a plane to come do a show with us right now, but she can hop on a Zoom call and be there for a live virtual performance of her work. And that's pretty powerful and great. And there are these silver linings, and I hope that as a community, it does bring us all together around art that we love, and keeps us focused on that community and communion and content till we make it through.
Well, thank you for sharing all that. That's great news, and break legs with the work going forward. And I will look forward to hearing your live stream this Thursday night with Lauren herself.
Yes, and it'll be performed by Kaya Dunn. She is a Charlotte-based actress, director, professor, and leader of new pedagogy surrounding artists of color. And she's spectacular, and I can't wait for Raleigh to see more of her.
Very good. Okay, Johannah, thank you, and have a
thank you.
Cheers.